So I just wasted an hour and a half of my life I'll never get back. Poor, this movie was bad. So I just saw Christmas Bloody Christmas. I saw this at Monster Fest in Australia. It's basically a film festival that runs for about a week. And independent horror makers and horror movies, you can submit movies that aren't going to get big time exposure, and then they're basically shown at, I think it's like 4 or 5 theaters across the whole country, pretty much once, and that's it. And I'm glad it's only once, so no one has to fucking bear witness to this absolute shite. Now, before I go on with the review, just want everybody to know this is my opinion. And if you like the movie, if you love the movie, I'm happy for you. I'm really happy you enjoyed it. And I'd love for you to comment and tell me why you enjoyed it. But for me, this movie was a big pile of doo-doo. So this is just my opinion. I've said before, I don't like to bash filmmakers and actors. I mean, I want to be a filmmaker in the future. That's my ultimate dream. But the way I look at criticizing films is the way I look at my job being criticized. So for example, I work in retail myself. If I don't get enough cartons on the shelf within a certain time frame, I'm going to get criticized. I'm doing a shit job. Filmmakers, actors, they're paid to do this job, so you can get criticized. And this movie was... it might be the worst movie of the year. So we open the film with the two main characters with probably the worst dialogue I've ever seen written in a movie. It was absolutely fucking unbearable to try and sit through this shit. And they're talking, and you're not introduced to Termy Santa, the big robotic killer Santa. This movie looked so fucking good on the trailers. It looked so entertaining. Literally Robo Santa running around. Like, the concept itself is amazing, but this movie was just garbage. Absolute garbage. This review is going to be all over the place because I've got a million thoughts running through my mind. I'm going to try the best I can to make it make sense. So you introduce these two, talking. They meet their two other best friends who are just as unbearable. These characters, you don't relate to them. You don't feel sorry for them. You don't even want them to succeed in this movie. I could not have cared less when they were getting fucked up and they were dying. I didn't care. They were the most unbearable, annoying, stupidly written characters I've ever seen. The dialogue was just unbearable throughout the whole movie. It was so bad. The writer had a fascination for fucking cock jokes, fucking sex jokes, cum jokes. What? I know you're trying to be edgy with your movie, but what is this shit? So when you're finally introduced to Robo Santa, you know, you're like, okay, maybe shit might kick off now. We might get what we were promised in the trailer. A killer Santa and just trying to kill people. And the first time he comes out, it's in the perspective of this Santa. And again, the writer literally addicted to sex scenes and dick jokes and cock jokes and fucking vag jokes. It was... this couple are like fucking on the side and Santa's just watching it. Through his eyes, he's watching it and he kills these two people while they're fucking in this toy store. In a toy store, what? What the fuck? Right, I've teleported, but there's one more thing that I forgot to mention related to the ridiculousness of this movie. In one of the very next scenes, the other two main characters are fooling around in the house, and then next door fucking Termy Santa breaks in and he's killing this dude, right? And they're zooming in on his like terrified face, he's in pain, and then they start cutting this with what's going on next door. And what's going on next door is the most awkward sex scene I've ever seen. It's not really a sex scene, but he's giving her the Lickaroony 3000, right? And it's cutting between them and this dude screaming. Her face and his face. Her face fucking loving it and his face fucking dying. And it is the most awkward shit I've ever seen. The dude is like fucking The Walking Dead. Literally thought he was going to start fucking eating her. It's the dumbest shit I've ever seen. He starts killing people off one by one. And again, you don't care. The cops come, they're absolutely useless. They can't do anything. Yeah, drama, drama, drama. Then the female lead character, she musters up the strength to try and kill this thing. This movie, okay, the runtime's an hour and a half, right? It felt like 4 hours. This Santa is killed about fucking 12 times and resurrected before it actually dies. It's one of those movies where you're like, it's over, right? Nope, another 10 minutes. It's over, right? No, we're going to do this. It's over, right? No, we're going to keep going. It was fucking, oh my God. Oh, so bad. Just the runtime was, it was so short, but it felt so long. And that's saying a lot. That's saying something about your movie. There was literally 2 good characters in this movie, and they were in it for 2 minutes. A bartender, who was bearable, because he barely spoke, and a cop, because he actually tried to do something good, and then he turned into an absolute idiot. And so many attempts at comedy. I think I laughed once. There's literally one line of dialogue, I was laughing. But every single other attempt at comedy, it was all mixed into this dick cock joke dialogue that they were going on for half hour, and it just wasn't funny. And trust me, I laugh at the dumbest shit. You put any meme in front of me, and I'll be in absolute hysterics. But this movie was just unbearable. There were some positives. I'll give credit where credit's due. Even though the dialogue was absolutely unbearable and these characters were absolutely unbearable, the acting from them in times was really good. A lot of the scenes of this unbearable dialogue were actually continuous shots. So they were talking without stopping for, 2-3 minutes at a time, which is really impressive. And relating to that, there were some awesome camera choices, like these long extended scenes. The practical effects, for the most part, were decent. I mean, Terrifier 2's practical effects, I don't think will be beaten this year, especially for the budget they had. This one here, they were okay for the most part, but it seemed like at times they had no budget left, so they were just cutting corners by keeping certain scenes in shadows or keeping them off cam. And again, understandable, the budget for this film, I'm guessing, or I'm hoping, was low. But again, it looked like they had more budget than a movie like Terrifier, which for a 250 grand budget, they were able to do a lot. So there's really no excuse for this movie. But there were some terrible, terrible practical effects. Like, you could see dummies flying across the room. Literally dummies. Their arms were like fucking spaghetti noodles. So to summarize, this movie was extremely fucking disappointing. I mean, the trailer looked so entertaining. Just the music in the trailer alone had me at this movie. The premise seemed entertaining as hell, but it wasn't. And again, when it comes to criticizing this film, it's only fair. It's a film that was made. People can criticize. I'm in the process of trying to make a little short film that's going to be criticized, because that's what you want. Criticism makes you better. And I'm giving this criticism to the entire production of this movie. In my opinion, your movie was doo-doo. This movie was just such a disappointment, from the absolutely unbearable writing, stupid choices when it comes to ending this movie. If I was you, I really wouldn't see it. But at the same time, I want you to go out and see this so you can really get a grasp of what I'm actually talking about. I absolutely hated this. I think it might be the worst film of the year. It's right there with a film called Dashcam, which I will review, but I really don't want to watch again. It's that bad. So I'm going to give this movie a 1 out of 5. This is literally what I looked like at the end of the movie. I just couldn't be fucked anymore. An absolutely painful watch. Literally wasted an hour and a half. Although it wasn't wasted, I went to the theater. you know, one of the best places on earth. But this movie was terrible. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.